Can I see your number?
Yeah. Thank you. 5 crowns over. It's good.
It's from the Olympics.
Like, which one? This one or?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Suomen duo on kovassa linjassa tänään ja katsotaan miten nuo maa kestää sitä pelikonetta. 30 kohdalla laitetaan tähän samaan lähtöön. Ja näin. Kiitos Seru. Nyt laittaa sitten taas vähän polvia koukkuun, eli nyt on aika mennä taas viikonloppu viimeistä kertaa hieman kyykkyyn. Kiitos Kääriän. Tämä perinne tuli sekä urheilutapahtumiin että kaikkiin bileisiin. Laitetaan liput alas, liput piiloon sekä seinäkatsomossa että pääkatsomossa. Ja sitten hetillä lähdetään. Ja liput ylös! Näin! Sieltä heilutellaan tuonne muun muassa...
Well, hello and a very warm welcome to the men's 15-kilometer mass start here at the Biathlon Stadium in Kontiolahti, Finland, where the sun is now creeping down behind the clouds and the temperature is beginning to drop. The athletes today will face the 3-kilometer loop 5 times, shooting both in prone and stand for a total of 20 shots. They all start together, and it's first across the line to claim the victory. Now, 4 degrees Celsius, the air temperature. It's nice and mild, but the snow temperature at 0 degrees Celsius. So the conditions incredibly fast. And the fans out in their numbers to watch the drama unfold, as it has done so many times over the course of this season. The last mass start of the season was at the Olympic Winter Games for the men, where of course we saw Johannes Dale Skjevdal of Norway claim the victory. Ellard finished in second, claiming the silver medal. And with 4 penalty loops, Quentin Fillon-Maillet finished in third. Now the athletes collecting their skis now after the Flora testing. Sebastian Samuelsson wearing bib number 2 as we get ready. Sebastian Samuelsson finishing the individual 12th. Emilien Jacquelin marching out towards the start line. He wears bib 6. And he really has come into a form of his own, a style that has been building up for many years, that involved highly impulsive shooting, extremely erratic lap pacing, but yet those two, that combination, has really worked for Emilien Jacquelin. at the final part of this season since the Olympic Winter Games. Well, I'm Scott Dixon, and it's my pleasure to talk you through this race as it unfolds. Eric Perrault, the World Cup leader in this discipline and overall, he wears bib number 1. Samuelsson in 2, Botten in 3, Dali Shevdal in 4. Fillon-Maillet wears 5. Of course, in the mass start, Quentin Fillon-Maillet with 4 penalties. Finished in 3rd, the bronze medal. An absolutely phenomenal performance, skiing like a rocket. Tero Seppälä receiving a large applause as we turn our attention back to this man, Eric Perrault, the superstar from France, separates himself from the rest with remarkable ability to hold his nerve in high pressure scenarios. Sebastian Samuelsson, he's been around for a long time now, and he'll be fighting for a victory today. Johan Olav Smurdal Botten of Norway, the 3rd on the first rank, are being chased by the legend Quentin Fillon-Maillet of France, a beloved biathlete from across the world, and Sturla Holmlagride, now a famous biathlete across the world, not least because of his 5 podiums at the Olympic Winter Games. Campbell Wright wears bib number 11. And Wright is the 3rd overall in this discipline with 116 points. Perrault with 165, well clear. Campbell Wright, the biggest threat to the Crystal Globe in the mass start. Jakob Fack, bib number 22. And they are off now for the men's 15-kilometer mass start here in Kontiolahti, Finland. Eric Perrault close to the front with Johan Olav Smurdal Botten just going out onto the bridge in the lead. Now the mass start consists of 5 laps around a 3-kilometer loop, prone, stand, stand. No spare rounds may be used. Only 5 bullets for 5 targets. A 150-meter penalty loop for every mistake that's made. And that will prove critical now in this race. Well, they now go all together down the fastest part of the course, half opting to go in the grooved tracks, half out. And now they will be getting to this rapid left-hand bend all together, carefully avoiding each other's skis. A tangle here would result in a heavy fall. But masterfully, as you would expect, they all skip around in this very, very fast snow. Norway forming a wall of 2 at the front with the Olympic mass start champion Johannes Dali Shevdal getting his way to the front. Dali Shevdal hitting the perfect 20 out of 20 at the Olympic Winter Games. Perhaps one of the bigger shocks in terms of biathlon performing that we saw out there. He's never done it before, and not in that style. Absolutely phenomenal shooting from the man, best known for his incredible skiing on the last lap of any race, but particularly the head-to-head battles. He first came into notoriety the day in Shushan at the selection races where, in the time trial event, he clung onto the back of Martin Fourcade and stuck with him, and he was a junior at the time. fact that such a young Norwegian biathlete was capable of such a feat proved to be a mind-blowing occurrence, and ever since then he's been bouncing between the IBU Cup and the World Cup. Now an Olympic champion. Here we are out on the course under the artificial light. This hill here, long, consistent in terms of gradient, and it precedes the wall where we've become familiar with the attack from Sebastian Samuelsson in the relay. And now Botten on the right-hand side of your screen, Dali Shevdal on the left. Botten in the relay, in prone shooting, came in with an advantage over his competitors. He lost that advantage just because he shot slow. He missed the first 2 rounds, and all of a sudden 40 seconds was dropped from the Norwegian. A rare occurrence, but an occurrence nevertheless. Now the athletes will be thankful for a little bit of a boost now as they come down this right-hand sweeping bend. Emilia Jacquelin tucking low in behind Perrault, coming into the base of the wall, now with some momentum. The fans out in their numbers alongside the track, under the forest. And many of those cheers are for Harjula, wearing bib number 25, the Finn, and Seppala wearing bib number 21. And in 21st position at this point. Norway now with 3 up at the front. Johan Olav Smurdal Botten and Christiansen and Dali Shevdal. But take a look now at Fry. 30th place, 19.4 seconds back. He is way off the pace. Now that is somewhat reminiscent of the Eric Lesser race we saw in Ruhpolding, where he had the most astounding performance, way off the back on lap 1, but hitting all the targets and gradually climbing up the order. A rarity, but Isak Leknes Fry struggling to hang on in there. Sebastian Samuelsson, the yellow and blue suit on the left of your screen, with Eric Perrault wearing the yellow and red bib just to his side. And now, these athletes, as they enter the range for the first time, will filter onto the mat that corresponds with their bib number. Vetle Skjolstad Christiansen, the first into the range, but the best and most accurate prone shooter, Sturleholm Lagride, with a 96% hit rate, followed closely by Martin Uldal with a 92% hit rate. Samuelsson, the last to get his elbow on the mat. In fact, the first to miss. Now, a problem. The fall from Isak Leknes Fry, resulting in him retrieving the spare rifle. Christiansen is clear, Jacquelin likewise, and now Uldal 5 for 5. Botten shooting slow but gets the 5 targets down. Perrault is clear, Navrat is clear. Dale Shevdal, Ponsaloma and Samuelsson of Sweden, both with misses. Jesper Nelin, the first of the Swedes to get out and with the leading pack. And so the filter has begun. The filter which usually sees half of the athletes end up on the penalty loop, today has seen 2/3 of the starters shoot the perfect 5 for 5. Botten, conservative, slow, but accurate. Now, it remains to be seen what exactly happened to Fry. He must have had a fall. He's off the back. Coming into the range, 21 seconds down. The next slowest, Andrei Rasuguyevs of Latvia, 12.2 back. And Fry still not having come out of the shooting range. So I will update you on exactly what has gone down there. And once again, the Norwegian suits up at the top as Emilien Jacquelin takes a drink, casts it aside. The master tactician. He loves the mind games just as much as Christensen does. Well, here they are now on the second lap of 5 at the 4.2 kilometer mark. The pace is heating up. Sturleholm Lagride getting to the front, attacking, applying the pressure. He's in form. The 4th fastest ski speed in the individual. Just 3 days ago. 30 seconds down on Navrat's time. The German absolutely flying. 13.3 seconds faster than Perrault. Could this be a chance for Germany to get on top of the podium? Well, Sebastian Samuelsson missed one alongside Ponsaloma, but Ponsaloma already managing to get up near the pack. He's almost connected, now down in 20th place. 17.6 seconds down. Managing to get in ahead of Shemaev, who's not missed a single target to date. And what beautiful scenes now we have here in Kontiolahti as they hit the base of the second toughest climb in this 15-kilometer mass start. The second last mass start of the season, and the Crystal Globe battle now in the forefront of the mind of Eric Perrault, whose closest competitor is Campbell Wright of USA. Tommaso Giacomel, of course, higher in points by 4 than the American, but not racing for the rest of the season and therefore out of contention for the Crystal Globe. Uldal, the next Norwegian to grace us with his presence at the front. Known for his rapid shooting, particularly in stand, and the novel way he takes the rifle off his back. His left hand immediately finding the grip. His right hand reaching for the magazines so fast. A method which so many are undoubtedly going to follow suit in the years to come, given how much quicker it is. And who'd have thought that a new way of removing the rifle from the back could be found so many years, decades after biathlon came to be. Now the race still as yet being controlled by the Norwegians as the coaches come out to show their athletes. Christensen there taking a good glance at the board to identify where the shots fell. They've received the information. If their group was slightly to the left or slightly to the right, they now know. Samuelsson still not at the 5.4K, with Ponsaloma through 17.1 seconds down. And now Samuelsson, 33.2 seconds off the pace. 12th in the individual. Jacquelin. Now it's time to attack, the Frenchman says, as he gets past the Norwegian wall and is doing what he does best. Somehow elevating the heart rate, exhausting the oxygen supply in the muscle. Emilien Jacquelin thrives under the intensity, under the aggression, under the impulsivity, and now Emilien Jacquelin will find lane 1 with Eric Perrault on lane 2. Rapid fire from Jacquelin. And he's got all 5 down before anyone else could fire away the third shot. Emilien Jacquelin now with a dramatic lead. Perrault, he will be hot on the heels of his teammate. Christensen gets 5, Lagride the same, Uldal with a miss. Quentin Fillon-Maillet, he will join Uldal on the penalty loop. Botten missing his first of 5. Nalin with 2. That will be 3 or 150 meters for every penalty loop, of course. 300 meters for Nalin with 2 penalties. And Samuelson now trying to make a comeback. Uldal now 28.8 seconds back, just in ahead of Quentin Fillon-Maillet. But look at that. Absolute speed, total confidence. And Jacquelin in a time of 22.4 seconds gets all the targets down now. That was fast, I think we can all agree. But we saw Hannah Öberg today get all the targets down in prone in under 20 seconds. So whatever speed you saw there, Hannah Öberg did it 3 seconds faster in the relay today. Absolutely remarkable shooting. But that is the lead that the audacity of Emilien Jacquelin has earned him over the rest of the field. He came into the range fast. And any effort to suppress the instinct that Emilien Jacquelin has to race like that has been futile over the years, and it really came to its best at the Olympic Games. Only falling outside of the bronze medal by 0.2 seconds. Now, Jacquelin at the 7.2 kilometer mark comes through with a big lead. The chasing 5 now, 9.7 seconds back. Fabien Claude at the helm of the chase with the local favorite, Seppälä of Finland. 12.3 seconds off the pace. Philipp Navrat of Germany with a perfect 10 for 10 is there and on fantastic form. Rastaguyev's in 8th place, just in ahead of Uldal. But an aggressive attack now from Botten, 37.5 seconds down. Well, he came out of the range, 38.3, so yes, gaining, but hardly. The pace is just so sharp that much of the battle is done on the shooting range, as the Swedes, Sebastian Samuelsson and Ponce Loma find themselves together, 45 seconds off the pace. That's what an advantage of 10 seconds looks like from the air. Emilien Jacquelin being hunted down. This is where he thrives. He loves the head-to-head battles. At the Olympic Games, he finished in 12th with 6 mistakes. That was after claiming the gold medal in the relay. And much of that victory was down to his unbelievable comeback on the second lap. Something that I will never get bored of talking about. Shooting fast, 10 out of 10. But the medal he'll be proudest of, undoubtedly, will be the pursuit bronze after falling outside the podium by 0.2 seconds. Now the chasers, Fabien Claude, the man also with the gold medal around his neck. Kudos to the rest of the French team, and in large part this man at the lead for coming back after he found himself on the loop. But there you can see on the left, behind Emilien Jacquelin at the 8.4, who has the lead, is Perrault, and Perrault is attacking aggressively. The gap now down to 9.1 seconds. Perrault was 11.7 back, now down to 9. 2.6 seconds gained by the Frenchman. Legride in third. Fabien Claude dropping down a couple seconds. It's fractional, but every second is important. Campbell Wright, wearing bib 11, he is in the battle for the Crystal Globe against Eric Perrault. Perrault stands at 165 points with this race and one more to go in Oslo, Holmenkollen. Campbell Wright has 116 points. It's a massive lead for Eric Perrault. But this is biathlon, and if Lou Jean Monod can finish outside the top 30 in an individual, then anything can happen. Now, Emilien Jacquelin coming in to the shooting range for the third out of 4 times. He's got a lead, but it's becoming shorter and shorter by the meter. Eric Perrault, 6.3 seconds down, with Legride, Christensen, Claude, and Seppala all landing on the mat shortly after this man. A miss from Jacquelin, followed up with another. He has the wherewithal to pause and reset, get the last one, but that's 300 meters of penalty. Perrault goes clear, 5 out of 5. Legride matches, and Fabien Claude, one of the fastest on the skis, is now going to join Legride in the hunt down for Perrault. Rasteguyevs goes 5. Navrat, one of the fastest in the individual, misses the 4th. And now Quentin Fillon-Maillet shoots quickly, absolutely phenomenal. And Dali Shevdal, can he do the same? No, missing the last shot. And Campbell Wright will be going around the penalty loop with Johannes Dali Shevdal. Ponsaloma getting the 5 he's so desperately needed to reconnect with the top 10. And now, Emilien Jacquelin finds himself behind Martin Ponsaloma in a time of 42.4 seconds off the leader, Eric Perrault. Here are the misses. Well, the problem with shooting so fast is that when it goes wrong, well, that last shot right in the middle, when it goes wrong, it's so hard to intervene with the rhythm, reset, and go again. Well, now the order has changed at the front. Eric Perrault with a 2.1 second lead coming out of the range finds himself connected now with Legride and Fabien Claude. Andrei Rasuguyev's so far, so good. 15 out of 15 and 12 seconds down. The Latvian, perhaps inspired by the success of the Youth and Junior World Championship medal haul, where Luzber's and Wolfa and Blidela have produced some of the most remarkable results. Christiansen with one miss, 17 seconds off the pace, with Quentin Fillon-Maillet the next of those to have missed just one. We find ourselves now with only 5 athletes hitting the perfect 15 out of 15. Hornig of Czechia, the next to have done so, but 44 seconds back off the pace in 12th. Struggling with the speed up at the top, Johan Olapotten. Sometimes in the early season, before the selection races, doing upward of 100 kilometers the day before racing. Training at such continuous levels. Fighting so hard for every single second, as all these athletes must do. Johan Olapotten found himself overtrained at one stage throughout the summer. And they do all the relevant tests to ensure that the levels are fine, the body is good before training begins, and expecting to take a week off, his body recovers so fast that after just a day he was almost fully regenerated and ready to go back at the previous levels. But what makes this man such a special performer? Well, he's fast, and of course that helps. But in the shooting range, when the pressure is highest, Eric Perrault seems to be able to block out the noise, both external and internal, and get those targets down with a beautiful rhythm. And now Fabien Claude is struggling with the pace at the front. Eric Perrault is now putting the pressure down. Well, in this race at the Olympic Winter Games, Sturla Lagride finished in second place, claiming the silver medal with one mistake. Perrault, on the other hand, finished in 20th with 7 mistakes. He went into that race perhaps expecting to come away with the gold. He didn't, and he nearly fell out of what would be the equivalent of in terms of points. But now, Sturla Lagride is in the lead with Eric Perrault in second place and Fabien Claude in third. Fabien Claude has never won a World Cup race. Andrei Rasuguyevs has never won a World Cup race. Christiansen has won loads. 3 of them mass starts. He has composure. He has the ability to settle under the pressure. Now, Seppala doing a fantastic job for Finland in 7th place, with Uldal, Navrat and Botten all 40 to 42 seconds back. Ponsaloma and Jacquelin did come out of the range together, but now Jacquelin has lost 7.3 seconds to Ponsaloma since the shooting range. Well, now Lagride of Norway leading into the shooting range for the final time. He goes head-to-head with the best in the world, Eric Perrault, who's going to settle onto lane 2. Lagride with an 87% hit rate, Perrault 88. Claude joins them after the first 2 rounds go down for Perrault. He's shooting fast. And he misses the last shot. Perot now with 150 meters to contend with. As Sturla Lagride gets all 5 targets down. Fabien Claude now with a miss. The door is open. Can Andrei Rastoguyev step through? 2 mistakes for Claude. Rastoguyev's now with his first miss of the day. Christiansen going fast and accurate. He goes 5 for 5 now. Fiomaye, 3 mistakes on the last visit. Seppala with 4 hits out of 5. And now Uldal, rapid fire, gets the targets down. Navrat, he is going well alongside Botten, shot for shot. And now Botten, Navrat, Ponsaloma and Uldal all go clear. Jacquelin, 5 out of 5. With Dali, Chevdal on his case, and now Jacquelin standing up as if the race is over. He's no longer fighting for the top spot, so he's no longer fighting. That's the body language. Hornig, 20 for 20. He may be skiing slow, but he's shooting brilliantly. And Sebastian Salmason there going clear. But the lead at the front now, Lagride has a 17.6 second advantage over Eric Perot. Let's take a look now at the shooting. Well, that was fantastic accuracy. 20 out of 20 for Sturla Lagride. And Eric Perot with a shock of missing that last shot. It was going so well. Well, here he is, the leader on the last lap. And without any company on the tracks, look at the speed. Sturla Lagride wants the win. And now Eric Perot, although second, he has company. Christiansen, a fantastic sprint finisher, was 26 seconds down behind Eric Perot and has now closed the gap to 4 seconds. From 26 seconds back, Perot 17 back. That is now a difference of 9 seconds down to 4. 5 seconds gained from Christiansen since the range. Navrat of Germany, 44 seconds back. Uldal. Next from Norway, Rastoguyevs. He'll be fighting to get a top spot today. Seppala, 2 mistakes on the day. Sees him in 10th place, 1 minute behind. But the battle is between Perot and Christiansen for silver. And there is the gap. Sturla Lagride has the advantage. Perot with a yellow and red bib, sandwiched between the Norwegians. And he knows that Christiansen is hunting him down, meter by meter, stride by stride. And that, his second place, may very well be compromised. But he's managing to apply the pressure. They both missed the same. And he's keeping Christiansen away. Look at the gap now, opening up. Perot pacing himself wonderfully on this last leg. Christiansen beginning to tire. His legs are heavy. His arms not responding like they normally do as he glances over his left shoulder. Could Christiansen have gone too hard too soon? Well, Uldal, 14 seconds behind his teammate. coming out of the shooting range. Found himself 20 seconds behind at the 13.2 and may very well be closing that gap. McGride, he's going to have the win. And it just seems to be getting better and better for the Norwegian. Not a single podium before the Olympics, and then he hasn't been off the podium since. It has got better by the minute. Perot in second, 19 hits out of 20, missing the last shot. And Christiansen maintaining the third position. Uldal surely not going to be able to close down that gap, but the battle for fourth is formidable. Andrei Rastoguyev second off the back, as now we can see Johan Olaf Smurdal Botten. He is making an attack. He's in fourth place and he is going hard. Ponsiluoma fighting to stay with the rapid Norwegian, both of whom gold medalists at the Olympic Winter Games in their own right. Sturla Holm Lagride, third in the individual, bronze medalist in the sprint, second, a string of second thereafter, and now finally here in Kontiolahti, in the mass start, it's gold and it's a win for Sturla Holm Lagride. Done in style, 20 out of 20. And a nod at the camera. Ziggy Mazet, proud, no doubt. But now Eric Perot coming through. He looks somewhat disappointed with second. And Christiansen, a fist pump for third. Johan Olaf Botten only a fraction of a second behind, but Ponsiluoma unable to contend with the Norwegian speed. And Uldal just getting in ahead of Navrat. And Rastaguyev's, he'll be pleased with that. 19 out of 20, 8th place. Well, Jacquelin completed the last lap and did so in style. 9th place in ahead of Dale Chevdal. Fabian Claude then in 11th. But what a performance from Sturla Holm Lagride. Well, in the relay, Lagride used one spare, but 49 out of 50 as Campbell Wright comes across the line. Perot's closest competitor for the Crystal Globe. He is down in 13th, likely out of contention. Eric Perot now with 240 points in the bid for the Crystal Globe. Botten now in second place with 146. Well, that seals it. Nobody can beat Eric Perot, and he has in this race sealed the Crystal Globe. Harjula receiving an applause as he crosses the line. And although, of course, there is still one race yet to go in the mass start, Eric Perot finding himself on 240 points as Victor Brandt comes through in 23rd with 4 penalties. Perot with 240 points is 90 points clear of his nearest rival, meaning if he did not race and Botten won, Botten's best chance would be at 236 points, 4 points shy of the Frenchman in the bid for the Crystal Globe. For the mass start, of course. Now we see Kritschmar coming across 247 back, struggling with the pace. Jakov Fak, after his incredible 20 out of 20 in the individual, finds himself with 4 mistakes in the mass start. The pace so sharp now at the front. Only intermittently can Jakov Fak find the form to stay with the top level. Shamaev there of Romania comes through in 28th. Fry having a nightmare out there on the tracks, but fighting through nevertheless. Like the warrior he is, the Norwegian has 9 penalties on the range. He's using a rifle that is not zeroed to him. And Sturlaholm Lagride just keeps getting better and better by the race and by the confession. Excellent performance from the Norwegian. Well, as we await the remaining 2 athletes to come through, and thank you for joining us on this fantastic race. The prize giving, of course, around the corner once the race is complete. I've been Scott Dixon, and it's been my pleasure to bring this race to you and the Youth Junior World Championships, which has come to a close in great style. We're going to be heading over to Otepää for the World Cup in Estonia. And one of the coolest facts of biathlon right now is the fact that 14 different nations won medals at the Youth and Junior World Championships. Estonia at the back having won 3 medals. As we can see now, the sprint finish from Claude of Belgium. Florent finishing in style, to applause from the Finnish audience. And only 1 remaining to come through. Isak Leknes-Frey. He traveled out to the Olympic Winter Games. Wasn't able to get the start he was hoping to have in the mass start, with outsiders managing to climb inside the top 30 and earning themselves a spot by virtue of their accumulated points over the course of the Olympic period. And therefore, putting this man just outside the top 30. Isak Leknes-Frey has missed a lot of targets today, 9 in total, but he did it with a rifle that was not his at the start of the race. I don't know exactly what happened. It appears as though he had a fault. And in the prone section, he missed 7 targets. In stand, he only missed 2. What a guy, what a performer, and what a superstar of the future for Norway. And to great applause, this man comes in towards the finish line in 30th position, valiantly refusing to stop and with a big smile on his face. The young Norwegian has so much potential and to look forward to on the World Cup circuit. Well, Horn looking disappointed there. 2 minutes and 54 seconds back, and you have to feel sorry for Philip Horn. 4th at the Olympic Winter Games in the mass start, just being pipped by Filion Maillet, who by no right should have been on the podium with 4 mistakes. But there's your winners today. Sturlaholm Lagride of Norway takes the win, with Eric Perrault finishing in 2nd. Vetle Sjåstad Christiansen, who's trying to bring the dab back finishes in third, but so exhausted over the line he couldn't do anything other than nod. Botten with an aggressive last lap. His course time 6.7 seconds clear of the next fastest, who was Kontiolahti. And on the last lap, of course, Emilian Jacquelat, 7.6 seconds off the pace, the third fastest skier, beating Johannes Dalishevdal. That was after, of course, Jacquelat dropping down. But let's take a look at the intermediate standings now on the men's World Cup total score. Well, Eric Perrault is at the top with 999 points, claiming 75 additional points today. Tommaso Giacomel is at 797, no longer going to be defending his second spot. That will just continue to drop. The next person likely to take it will be Sebastian Samuelsson, who is in third place overall, managing that third place despite the fact that he's only had a sprint win here in Ruhpolding one time at the top of the podium this season, but third overall. He's always there or thereabouts. Botten in fourth, 707 points with a good trajectory. He'll be competing for the second spot. He's missed races, so look out for Johan Olav Botten, or Johan Olav Schmurdal Botten, as it now reads on the graphic, as is his name, of course. And Legride, 569 points. Well, we can't keep that man off the podium. Quickly becoming an absolute legend. So many second places to his name as he battled the epic Johannes Tingnes Bo. As the fans from Estonia wave their flags, unperturbed by the cooling air temperature here in Kontiolahti, Finland. But let's take one more look now. Vetle Sjostad Christiansen went clear in prone, 10 for 10, and with his arching position in stand, missed one on the first visit in stand, the third overall. Then shot 5 out of 5 on the final visit. Attempting to close in on the Frenchman, but burning too many cylinders on the first half of the last lap. And Eric Perrault was able to keep the Norwegian at bay. A fantastic result from him, but disappointment on the fact that when he came in for the final stand, it was all going so well. His mind uncluttered until the final shot didn't go down, and 150 meters of extra skiing cost him the win. And Eric Perrault, 16.5 seconds off the pace of the Norwegian Sturla Holm Legride, who claimed the victory with absolute composure, and for the second time here in Kontiolahti, hit every single target. 100% hit rate in the prone, 100% hit rate in the stand. This man is a force to be reckoned with. And after the success at the Olympic Winter Games, he has not yet been off that podium. Let's hear from him.
First individual win of the season now. How was it for you? It seemed to be a very perfect one, skiing, shooting, but how did you experience it?
Yeah, I did a perfect race on the individual on Friday, but then Eric beat me, so today I had to do a rematch, and yeah, it was a nice duel with him, and luckily I was on the top at last.
Last shooting, you were back-to-back with Eric. How concentrated you were trying to stay at this shooting, and also did you hear that Eric missed?
I felt going into the last shooting that Eric was really attacking, you know, so I expected him to be fast for the shooting, and my only focus was to just hit all the targets. And when I was going into the last target, I saw that there was one black left in his, and he was going out, so I just thought, okay, focus, hit the last one and be done with it, and I managed.
You did it. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Wow, to see during your shoot that your competitor, your closest competitor, had missed a target, and then to be able to recompose on the process, that takes a huge amount of mental strength. Sturla Holm Lagride exemplified all of the elements of biathlon there that make a champion. Now Bears. Nelly. The mascots guided to the podium as we await the medal ceremony. So the intermediate standings after 3 of 4 mass start competitions on the World Cup, excluding the Olympic Winter Games, now sees Eric Perrault at the top. And as I said earlier on, nobody can contend. He will win that Crystal Globe. It is decided. Eric Perrault has 240 points. So like I said, if he got ill and couldn't start in the mass start, if Eric Perrault couldn't start in the mass start in Oslo Holmenkollen, he would leave the season with 240 points in the mass start races. If Johan Olabotten, who's on 146 points, second place, the nearest rival to Perrault, if he won the mass start in Holmenkollen, he would only have 236 points. So the best case scenario for Botten still sees him 4 points shy of Perrault's current point tally. It is in the bag for the Frenchman, and that glow will be handed to him in Oslo Holmenkollen.
Koko viikonlopun highlightteja siellä näytetään vielä videotaululla. Kyllähän täällä meininkiä oli ja kyllä teltassakin juhlittiin näitä osumia, mitä suomalaiset tänäänkin tarjoilivat. Aivan hetkisen kuluttua meillä viikonlopun päättävä palkintojen jakopukitus ja siihen urheilijoita vielä odotetaan tuolta haastattelusta.
Well, now the athletes make their way over towards the podium where they will receive their medals and prizes for their success. Sturla Holmgren, the first time to stand at the top. He's getting used to the podium. He never had the chance to glance over the heads of his competitors on either side. And jauntily invites Perot through to second.
Prizes will be handed over by the member of Executive Board of IBU, Yekaterina Dabowska, and chairwoman of Regional Council of North Karelia, Emilia Kangaskolta. Third, kolmas tänään,
Third place to Vedla Sjosad Christiansen. Now with a smile and not with a doubt. What a performance. As is so often the case from the friendly giant. Eric Perot claims second today. He did it in style, but the last shot proving too resilient. Even the best can crumble sometimes under the intensity of the moment. But a crumbling for Eric Perot only leads to a second place. He is a master already. At the age of only 24 years. And Sturla Holmgren now claiming the win for the first time this season in an individual battle. He hits 20 out of 20. The 29-year-old has almost everything he could want in the world. What a performance. Sturla Holmgren in first, Eric Perot in second, and Vedla Sjosad Christiansen in third. Johan Olav Smurdal-Botten of Norway now in fourth place. And Ponsaloma, Martin Ponsaloma, the 30-year-old, 1100, finds himself in fifth. And Martin Oldal, the third, or I should say the fourth Norwegian in the top six. What a guy. Christiansen loving the walk back and forth. Wipes the sweat from his mouth. Don't fear, ladies and gentlemen, Christiansen was not there doing the dab. As he said, he's trying to bring it back into fashion, but long may that not happen. There is your top six, ladies and gentlemen. I've been Scott Dixon. It's been my pleasure to talk these races to you. We will be back next week on the 12th of March at 1:15 for the men's sprint in Ottopa, where we have 4 consecutive days of racing, the second last World Cup of the season, before we make our way to Oslo, Holmenkollen. Thank you for joining us, and until the next time, goodbye.